Well, Grand Rising Elizabeths.
Amazing.
Today
Look
is
at all
March.
of us in black.
I know, right? Today is March 26, 2024. Oh, the end of March. We getting ready to jump into April.
March and April.
I know, right. Well, I want to welcome you to the Health and Wellness Show. This is always a wonderful time for me because I love doing this. It has become a part of who I am, so I like it. It's fun. Yeah. So we have our host today, Sister Deitra, myself, who is the CEO of Go Herbal Arise, and we have have Sister Stacy, who is the CEO of Mindful Living for Life. Yay. I heard yesterday on Lakeisha and Danielle's show where they introduced that way. They talk about their companies. And I was like, you know what? That's a nice plug. It's a good time to do it because we're talking about being a host of something. We can talk about our companies. So it's wonderful that we're all moving right along. This is great. Okay, now we're going to do our oracle reading. Let's see what we're going to pull today. And here are the cards. Always give a quiet moment to just quiet myself and pull. And what do we get? Let's see here. What is this? We pulled today Mame Koumba Bang. Speak up. Okay, we're gonna find out what we need to be doing, y'all.
Yeah.
So speak up. And she is 33. Okay. Okay. Mame Koumba Bang, the goddess of speaking up. She is from Senegal. She is the Griot temple, and she is the water element. Mame Koumba Bang protects the mouth of the Senegal River. When making an offering to her, you must not speak to anyone else coming and going. Oh, you must not speak to anyone else coming or going. Sing for her, chant for her, call to her. Give Goddess Koumba your voice and she'll be happy. Mame Koumba Bang's guidance. Speak up, speak out, speak on it. You have a right to be heard. I want to say that again. You have a right to be heard. The embodiment she gives is you are betraying yourself by not speaking up. Your words have power. Your words have power. Own your voice. As the old saying goes, stand up for something or fall for anything. Being neutral is not an option. When you stand firmly in your truth, you have thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and convictions. What do you stand for? Tell someone today. I'll say that I ask that question again. What do you stand for? Tell someone today. The goddess declaration is, I reclaim my voice. I speak out and speak up. Oh, wow. This is wonderful. Whew. So, can anyone tell me what they stand for?
I stand for learning.
Yes.
And growing, yeah.
Yes.
Always learning something new, always growing. growing your different parts of your life.
Yes, yes. I would agree with that for myself as well. I find myself over the years, learning new things all the time. I mean, I don't stop. I don't stop. Just like this week. I mean, it happened today already, but this week I actually had a chance to have Danielle over, Sister Danielle. She came over to learn so I can learn some more things, and so it's I'm always learning. It don't matter. It does not matter.
That is so true of you. Since I've met you, you're always learning something else, taking another class. Oh,
Right.
and that's wonderful. That's wonderful to always just keep that brain going. Keep,
That's
it's
right.
yeah. I mean the knowledge, but the brain exercising something, putting new stuff in there is really good, always good. Mm.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Queen,
I
for
stand for expansion and creating opportunities um, for people, for me, and for others. If
yeah,
I'm creating an opportunity for others, then it automatically is an opportunity for me. So
right.
yeah, I do. I stand for expression of one's passion
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how you can get paid doing what you love to do. I really do stand for that. That is my purpose on life on earth is that. And
Right.
yeah,
We
yeah.
see that. We see that. Yes.
Mhm. So and then learning how to do that without any judgment, with pure love, with acceptance.
Yes.
That's where um yeah, yeah. And I've been really looking at myself. I was talking to Danielle last night and just observing things in the workplace or in life period, what my tendencies are, what my
Uh,
strengths are, where I'm not so strong at. I'm not going to say that it's that other word. I'm just going to say that I'm not as strong.
okay, I hear you.
Okay, I'm not claiming that other thing.
Right.
And or how I approach things.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm standing for that so that once, I mean, as I get strong in those other areas, then I know that the effect of my business and my programs and my uh shares and my testimonies and I mean to give a good testimony, you have to what is that thing where you learn how to speak?
Uh
It's an organization.
Yeah, public speaking.
No, it's an organization that you go to.
oh yeah, I've been
Yeah,
toastmasters.
right. There are ways. I mean, our the public speakers, they learn how to project and how to get that point of, when Barack spoke, they were like, whoa, whoa. See,
Right.
I
That's
want I want us to be like that. That being said, I really want to it really make sure you all know why we didn't have like different other speakers come in
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
for the conference because each of you run your own show. And I
Right.
I wanted to make sure that put a cherry on top of what you shared in realizing how Danielle and Lakeisha promote their thing. This is your show.
Yes, yes, yes. Right.
This is your show for your business, and you should be bringing people on and inviting people, your clients and stuff, to come to your show.
Right.
The bonus is that if they just wake up in another morning and they turn on, it's still from 9 to 10. There's something that's going to be delicious for them.
That's true.
So
That's-
yeah, when we come to your show and to today, I expect that I'm going to see a piece of your life.
Yes.
I'm going to experience what you share with your clients, both you and Stacy.
Right.
Same on Wednesday, same on Thursday, same on Friday. It's the time for you to really promote yourself and perfect your skill.
Yes.
And you have a team working with you versus you doing it by yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, speak up.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Make it work for you. Mm-hmm.
Stacy, you have anything to share?
Yes, I want to say that for me, it's being truthful with myself
Mm-hmm.
and just being truthful. And first of all, with myself,
Yeah.
because I've noticed with me over the last, I would say 6 years of my life, that I've had a struggle with losing weight. And I was told that, to be transparent, I had bariatric surgery because I was up to 253 pounds. And I was told that within my first year, I would get down to 179 pounds after the surgery. Well, I never got under 200 pounds. And I've been struggling with that for many, many years, up until like recently. And it kind of goes into what we're going to talk about this morning. And what I noticed was, the saying, sanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to be truthful with myself and say, what is it that I'm doing that is not allowing me to shed these pounds? I'm exercising my tail off, and I'm eating, and I don't eat that much, and because I can't eat that much, and I realized that all calories are not created equal, all foods are not created equal, and some of the foods that we eat what it is. So I've been following Bobby Price, the one that's we're going to talk about this morning, and religiously I've subscribed to his channel, and I've been watching him and listening to him religiously, and adhering to a lot of the stuff that he talked about. And when I made up my mind to just put aside all foods, whole grains, whole foods, foods that are from the earth, I started shedding weight like crazy. I've lost 12 pounds, 12.7 pounds this month alone, just following that. And it had nothing to do with exercise. All of the exercise I was doing was keeping me in shape, and it was keeping me, my range of motion good and different stuff like that. But it was not allowing me to lose weight. And I have been hearing the saying all along that you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And so what I've chosen to do is be honest with myself and not diet anymore, because diets don't work. And they've said that over and over, diets does not work. So I chose to adopt this lifestyle change, and the lifestyle change changed my life. I turned 62 yesterday, and I had a goal that I was going to lose 7 pounds by the end of March.
Yeah.
Because by my birthday, what it was, 7 pounds. And when I jumped on the scale yesterday, and I went from 192.4 to 188.7 just over the weekend, I wanted to cry, because all of this time it was awakening, because I'm like, all this time I have been fooling myself and not being truthful with myself about what a lifestyle change actually is.
Right.
And so it helped me out a lot, and I'm just so thankful. I was literally in tears, because now it's like, how sometimes some people will tell you, things over and over and say, yeah, that's right. That's so true. Yep, I'm going to try that. And knowledge is nothing unless we apply it.
That's
And
true.
so when I decided
Right.
to apply it, the pounds started just melting off of me. And now I know what it is to have a lifestyle change.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
I just heard something. She said another thing is stress. And I will concur with her, because it's not just what we put in our mouth or how we move. Sometimes if we have stress, that's heavy. That stress can be very, very heavy on a person.
Mhm.
I try to even for myself, I try to make sure I'll try to
That word.
I attempt to avoid stress if I could, because I know it affects the body. It does. But thank you, Stacy, for sharing that testimony. And congratulations and happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Birthday to you. Grand Rising, Brenda.
Something.
Brenda.
I'll say for me, I stand for dance, education, and
I have to unmute myself.
here lately, to not be not necessarily. I'm not trying not to get into it with people, but I'm standing for not being disrespected, and I'm adopting this as where I have to agree to disagree, because I'm not gonna be arguing with people. It's my family.
I know.
Yeah.
Y'all pray for me.
For sure.
And how are you, Brenda?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. But you know what? I'm not sure what the topic is that you all are talking about. But it just seems like some days I'm like, dang, I feel like those people that I used to see sitting down on the corner, just wanting a penny or two from folks. Just not that I'm broke. It's just that I don't know, what do you call that, depression or something? Say, good gracious, what is going on in my life? I feel like I'm 200 years old, and can't half walk, can't half use the cane, good gracious, my gosh. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know.
I
But
know. Let's give gratitude at this moment for you being alive, talking, whatever.
hallelujah.
Yes, amen. Oh, yes,
Yeah. Yes. That too passed. It says, this too shall pass, that too
This
passed.
too shall pass. Amen.
Yes,
Thank you.
on.
I feel better already.
Yeah,
already.
Right.
Mm.
good.
So see, it's a good thing. See, I was meant to call. I was struggling around here trying to find my phone, trying to find my book with my number in it. It seemed like by now, and I was saying to myself, see, that spirit, you ain't remembering nothing. You just blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I said I'm gonna get on here. I'm not gonna miss today. Amen. I'm gonna have a grand rising. And then when you did the grand rising, I couldn't find the star on the phone.
Awesome.
But anyway,
Have a good
laughter work good like a medicine.
it does. It really does. Okay,
Grand Rising, Joy.
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising.
yeah.
Grand rising.
Yeah, Joy, today we read our oracle card, and a question came up: what do you stand for? You're supposed to speak up. That's the thought for today. Speak up. And what do you stand for?
I came up with an idea the other day. and I want to start a rumor and see if it gets back to me. And ladies, I must tell
That's a
you,
good one.
we had a full moon last night. I could not sleep last night.
Okay.
I didn't get to bed till about 3.
Wow.
I'm doing the clock at 7. But the rumor is we need to start once a week a blackout Wednesday. And that is no black people buy nothing on Wednesdays until the end of the year, every Wednesday.
Blackout.
So
Blackout.
that's the rumor. I want to see if it gets back to me.
Okay.
Blackout Wednesday. And I was talking to a friend and says, well, maybe we should target one store. I mean, because we as black people have the power to shut down the economy.
Right. That's true.
You know, so if we could just not, they got Black Friday. So we should start a blackout Wednesday and do it just once a week, every week, to the end of the year and see what happens. See if it starts getting on the news.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Huh?
Wow.
That's interesting.
That's power there. That's power.
Power.
I was like, man, just once a week. So that's the rumor, y'all. Go spread it to everybody. We start
anything on Wednesday. Do not
yes.
stop on Wednesday.
Yeah, you got 6 days to spend money any place else, do whatever you got to do. But on Wednesdays, blackout. Shut it down.
Wow.
That's
one day a week and see what happens.
Sharonda said $1 trillion save, invest, or support something.
So what you all, each one of you all tell somebody, say, hey girl, have you heard about Blackout Wednesday?
Right.
Hey, have you heard about Blackout Wednesday? It looks like, what is that?
Of course.
Because I didn't know about Blackout Friday. When is that Blackout Friday?
Huh?
When is the Blackout Friday? You said they got a Blackout Friday. When is that?
Black Friday.
It's Black Friday.
That's when everybody go out and spend money. Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
right before Christmas.
Right before Christmas. And that became because when they were selling slaves, that was the day when you could go down and get a slave at a discount price.
Oh my.
That's what that originated from.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. And they turned it into Black Friday. Yep. Isn't that something? This stuff is so deep. This stuff is so deep. It's
wow.
It really is. I'm learning a lot about this stuff. It's like, how did they come up with certain things? I'm like, huh.
The tentacles. Heard a lot of perspectives. So I never heard that one.
Yeah. Well, what about
hey, ladies, excuse me, but we to get this video in, I think you need to get started. I think it's 36 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
It's okay.
No.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm just bringing that because I just looked at the time.
Okay. Can I just say instead of blackout, just buy black on Wednesday?
No, we need to learn how to stop spending money as black people.
I'm good at that.
We spend too much damn money on too much junk. Let me tell you something. If we stop spending as black people, we could shut the economy down in a week. Seriously, in a week. We spend that much money. It's ridiculous. So we need to learn how to stop spending.
Okay, Joy, you're right. I agree.
Okay. I apologize. You asked me what I stand for.
Okay, thank you.
So you asked. Okay, I have this right here. Okay. All right, you want to introduce the video?
Yes. Okay. This video is by Dr. Bobby Price. He is a doctor. And it is titled, in general, You May Never Eat Bread Again After Watching This Video. And I saw this video after I went to Fishbones and the bread and butter. I was like, ooh, and he gonna talk about Subway, and I like Subway sandwiches. Ooh. But anyway, you got
Nothing but bread, a whole bunch of bread.
I know, right?
Just had one last night.
Here we go.
Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective, and today will be no different. After today's conversation, you may not eat bread again. Now, I know that sounds crazy because, you know, most people love bread. As a matter of fact, when you go out to restaurants today, one of the first things they give you is bread and water, and they do that for a reason. Okay, that makes you not only eat more, but it actually makes you want to drink more as well too. So bread has become a very integral part of eating today, dining. You know, typically when we have a meal, we're trying to figure out, well, what bread are we going to eat with it? And so I know that it's very integral to how we eat in our culture today. And I also know that for thousands of years, our ancestors ate bread as a main staple. As a matter of fact, you can go back as early as 8,000 years ago, and this is one of the first places you see humans make bread, okay? And it was in the form of like little chapatis, or if you know, like a tortilla. So that was the first time we made bread 8,000 years ago. But what I'm going to explain to you today, the bread, the wheat that our ancestors were eating 8,000, 2,000 years ago, is nothing like what we're eating today. And this is why so many people are sick today, because we eat so much bread, okay? We eat so much wheat. We eat so much white flour. That white flour is what's making the bread, of course, okay? And one of the personal experiences that I had was I spent a lot of time in Italy. And spending time in Italy, which has one of the 5 blue zones, by the way, what I noticed was that all these people were eating a lot of pasta, a lot of bread, but you didn't see a lot of overweight people there. And it just baffled me because, like, that's one of the things we know. When you eat a lot of bread, a lot of pasta, it is going to put weight on you, and weight in places you do not want to have weight. And so as I'm in Italy trying to figure out why is it they're able to eat so much pasta and bread and not have any problems. I mean, and gorgeous. And what I came to know and understand was, again, the wheat that we're eating, especially here in the US, compared to other countries. And I'll talk a little bit about it as we move toward the end. The amount of chemicals and additives and things that they're putting in bread in the US, which are banned in other countries, is why we're getting so overweight as a result of eating breads, pastas, cookies, cakes, pies, things of that nature. And so the wheat here is very different. And I'm going to explain why and how it's very different. And then I'm going to get into 8 reasons why, or 8 chemicals that are in bread that are causing you to not only get overweight and sick, but are increasing your risk for cancer as well too. So stay tuned to the end, and I'm also going to give you a solution to the problem as well too, if you still want to eat bread occasionally, okay? So let's go back to why American wheat is so dangerous, okay? And this is also becoming a problem in other countries as well too. But the good thing in places like Europe and other countries, many of the chemicals that I'm going to name a little bit later are banned, okay? So you never see them in the bread, all right? Now, what happened to wheat to be able to make bread today here? Well, what happened was, and this was really a trickle effect as a result of the ending of World War II, okay? The ending of World War II ruined the entire food industry in America. It ruined food, it ruined the nutrition of Americans. That was the beginning of the end, and that was the beginning of nutritional diseases. If you go back prior to World War I, which means that you got to go back to the 1930s and 20s, okay? You know, the ending of World War II and the 40s or what have you what you see is all of the technology that was being used primarily as warfare in World War II was then taken and given to industries. And one of those industries was the food industry. Okay? A lot of that technology got spread out. A lot of things that were left over in abundance were then given out, and people were trying to figure out how to make use of these things. So you see things like, you see industries that are having issues with having this backlog and abundance of fluoride, which was a toxic product, and they were trying to figure out how to get rid of all this fluoride. And you know what they decided to do? Put it in the tap water, put it in dentistry. Okay? But prior to, it was always considered a toxin. Was no different with the food industry and what happened in the food industry, but also what happened with wheat as well too. Prior to the 1950s, wheat wasn't hybridized the way it is today. But as a result of what was called the Green Revolution, and I use air quotes because the Green Revolution wasn't what you thought it was. It wasn't this evolution of go eat plants, go eat greens. Part of that revolution was there was an abundance of nitrogen after World War II. And they were trying to figure out to do with all this nitrogen that was left over in abundance. And one of the things that they decided to do with it was spread it out all over the place in the wheat fields to use as fertilizer. Okay? Now, in the process, they learned a few things. Okay? As a result of spreading out all of this nitrogen in the wheat fields, the head of the actual wheat became gigantic. And it became so big and heavy that the wheat would then tilt over. Now, I wasn't able to see it, but if you were to go back to wheat fields or go to other countries and see wheat fields, wheat is like 6 feet tall. Okay, so it comes up to like here to me. Okay, so wheat is like 6 feet tall when it's the original wheat. Now, when they did this, they added all of this, nitrogen to the field, and it caused the wheat to be so heavy. All of a sudden, the head of the wheat is so heavy that it leans over. It made it very difficult to harvest the wheat. Now, they're trying to figure out, I love the fact that the wheat is big and I'm getting a better yield, but now they got to figure out, how do we make it easier where it's not so tall and it doesn't bend over and it makes it difficult to harvest? So what they decided to do, again, man entering into nature, trying to perfect something that is already perfect, they decided to cross the wheat or hybridize the wheat, and they decided to hybridize the wheat with a Japanese goat weed. Okay, a Japanese goat grass to be specifically, and it was a dwarf Japanese goat grass. As a result, this made the wheat plant shorter, stockier, okay? So it literally went from being six feet tall to 2 feet tall. So this is how we get dwarf wheat today. Now, this created a few issues, and this is what's gonna lead us into why our wheat and bread here is so dangerous. The first thing it's important to know and understand that when you hybridize something, it is not necessarily on the same page as genetically modifying something, but that's a whole nother video. But when you hybridize something, you can't predict what will happen in nature as a result of crossing something with something that would have never crossed in nature. Okay? And as a result, now what happens is the plant is shorter. It went from 6 feet tall to 2 feet tall. But also this new hybridized plant lacked a leafy canopy. See, before there's a leafy canopy to in some ways protect the wheat. And what is it protecting it from? Weeds and insects. Okay? So now you don't have this leafy canopy in this new plant because it was crossed with a dwarf Japanese goat grass. And now it's smaller and the leaves don't provide that canopy. So now it's more exposed to insects. Now it's more exposed to weeds, okay? And as a result of that, now it makes it very difficult even though like you get more of it, it's more difficult to harvest because there's weeds everywhere and there's insects everywhere eating it. All right. This means that now you got to use herbicides. Herbicides get rid of weeds. Okay. And now you have to use insecticides. Insecticides get rid of insects. Okay. And pesticides, which get rid of rodents. So now the wheat is being sprayed with herbicides, insecticides, and pesticides. When you eat the wheat, you're also eating that. So that was a huge issue. Now with this new process or this new form of hybridized wheat, now they're not using their old traditional practices of rotating crops anymore. Okay? Now they're just simply monocropping. They're putting the same crop down every year, not rotating. It's important to rotate crops because when you put a new crop in there, you get a totally different requirement of that plant. That plant may need more nitrogen. The other plant may need more potassium. One plant may bring this type of bacteria to the soil. Another plant brings this type. It creates diversity in the soil when you're rotating crops. But now they're monocropping. They're not rotating the crops anymore. This depletes the soil. When the soil is depleted, guess what? The plant is going to be depleted. So now that wheat that used to be semi-healthy isn't as healthy anymore. And here's the other thing about hybridized wheat compared to nature's wheat. Hybridized wheat will not grow without men. You have to literally be present in the process for it to go. That tells you that it's not a natural thing. Okay. Now we can argue back and forth because I know there's a lot of farmers out there that says men have been cultivating plants for 10,000s of years, but it's important to know and understand that plants have been on this earth since the beginning of time, which is millions of years. So something that is natural will naturally grow without any intervention of man. Okay, so that's why I'm making that distinction because before people get in the comments, I think it's important for people to know that. So this new modern wheat will not grow without man. It will not grow from its own seed. It has to be replanted every year. So keep all of that in mind as I go through all of these chemicals that are now in bread, but it started with this process, the hybridization of wheat in the 1950s, which changed. It's not the wheat that our ancestors were eating. It's nothing near that. Okay, it's nothing near that in terms of nutrition. It's nothing near that in terms of what the original plant was. Okay, so hugely important. So let's get into these chemicals that are now in the bread. I'm going to talk about 8 of them, but there are many more. All right, so the first one is potassium bromate. All right, potassium bromate is often put in bread because it's there to strengthen the dough and increase the bread ability to rise. Okay, but there's always a cost when you use a chemical. Okay, just like there's no drug without a side effect, there's no chemical without a side effect. So if you put a chemical like potassium bromate in your bread, it increases your risk for cancer. It's linked to cancer. It's banned in 30 plus countries. It's actually banned in California. For those of you who live in California, you know that California is much more stricter when it comes to agriculture and, supplements and things of that nature. So California has banned potassium bromate for the entire state. Meanwhile, the FDA has approved it. This is why I'm always telling you guys, it's important for you to know just because something is on the shelf, Food and Drug Administration. So food, just because food is on the shelf, it does not mean that it's safe. Okay, banned in 30 plus countries, banned in California, approved by the FDA. Okay, potassium bromate. So that's one thing that is increasing your risk for cancer every time you eat bread. Okay, because the vast majority of wheat, unless they tell you it is original wheat, and I'll get into what original wheat is, it is more than likely in the US going to be hybridized wheat. Okay, so that's the first thing, potassium bromate. Number two, the number two chemical that is in bread got a lot of flack, especially with the company Subway. okay, because they put it in their bread. This chemical is called azodicarbonamide, okay? Azodicarbonamide. Now, the name should tell you that it's not good, okay? To hear something that long and that confusing, if you see that, well, you probably, in many cases, won't even see it in the ingredients. So that's the really sad thing. But they put this chemical in bread because it, again, for the dough texture and the dough strength, okay? But here's the thing about this chemical. As it's going through the processing, okay, this chemical breaks down and creates other chemicals, okay? And the unfortunate thing about these chemicals is that it's been shown to cause tumors in rats. This is why Subway got all of the flack about this chemical. And then a lot of Subways got banned in Europe because of these, actually this chemical and the potassium bromate that I mentioned before. So again, banned in 30 other countries, approved by the FDA in the USA. Okay? So that's the second chemical that is in bread that is killing your health, causing you to be overweight, okay? Causing diabetes, inflammation in the body, etc. Okay? Number 2, azodicarbonamide. Okay? Number 3, partially hydrogenated oils. Partially hydrogenated oils. Now, you're probably saying, what is that? Well, when you see those oils that are in breads, that they're using in breads, quite often they're also genetically modified as well, too, which means that they're going to come with a whole host of other chemicals as well, too. Not only the chemicals in terms of pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, but also chemicals in the processing or refining process as well, too, like hexanes, okay? But these partially hydrogenated oils are put in bread because they make the bread resistant to oxidation and spoiling. Now, here's the thing. You really need to understand, again, most scientists don't understand nature and its connection to the body. But one of the laws of nature is nothing. For all things have cycles, and nothing is made to live forever, including us. Everything has a process. Even in our bodies, we have what's called cell programmed death or apoptosis, where when a cell gets to a certain level of degeneration, it will automatically be programmed to die, okay, to be taken out. Okay, so nothing in nature is made to live forever. Okay, back in the days, you'll notice that when you bought a loaf of bread, it used to spoil. Now you'll notice that the breads don't spoil anymore. You've seen a lot of commercials where you'll see, for instance, McDonald's a McDonald's meal back in the day, like somebody bought it like 20 years ago and it's still there. Like it still looks almost exactly the same as it did when the person originally brought it, just looks dehydrated.
Yeah.
Okay? That means that it's not broken down. Same thing with Chick-fil-A. You saw a lot of those, memes and videos where people took their Chick-fil-A and put it on the side, put it inside of a box, never spoiled. The bread never spoiled. The chicken never spoiled or went bad. No fungus came for it. No bacteria came for it. Listen, in nature, when something dies, bacteria, fungus come. Okay? When we die, that's exactly what happens. When a plant dies, that's exactly what happens. So when something like bread doesn't spoil, that's a very bad thing. Partially hydrogenated oils are a very bad thing. And why is that? Because these partially hydrogenated oils are converted into trans fats in the body. Trans fats are banned not only in Europe, but trans fats are banned in the US. They were banned in 2020. But you'll still find traces of them still in food today. And these partially hydrogenated oils get converted into trans fat. These trans fats cause damage to the lining of the arteries. They also cause increased inflammation all over the body. Okay? They also lead to diabetes, obesity, etc. Okay? So if you're one of those people who always wake up and they feel stiff and and you feel inflamed, it could be because you're constantly eating these partially hydrogenated oils in the breads and everything, and basically all processed foods that you're consuming. Okay, but again, these are it's literally a chemical that is always present in bread unless you're buying bread consciously. Okay. Number 4, caramel coloring. Just because it says caramel does not mean that it comes from caramel. They use this because during the process of making bread is bleached. That's why it's so white. And to add some coloring so it could look almost kinda like something that we could eat instead of like a white sheet of paper, they add this caramel coloring into it. Okay, now what's important to understand is that, again, a lot of times when you put these chemicals in the bread, the processing of the bread and the cooking of the bread creates the dangerous byproducts. And in this case, these byproducts are linked to cancer as well too. So another chemical in the bread that increases your risk for cancer. Okay. Number 5, high fructose corn syrup and other sweeteners. Most bread has sugar in it. Okay. They said that one slice of bread could contain as many as 4 teaspoons of sugar. 4 teaspoons, just one slice of bread. All right. So imagine if you ate 2 slices, that's 8 teaspoons. But imagine if you did that 2 or 3 times a day. Okay. The amount of sugar that you're getting into your body. All right. Not to mention high fructose corn syrup. I need to do a video strictly on that because high fructose corn syrup isn't what it sounds like. Okay. It doesn't come from a natural corn, even though it says high fructose corn syrup. It is a synthetic, made up product that is littered with dangerous chemicals and does a number on our digestive system. It does a number on our endocrine system, does a number on our blood sugar, and is one of the major contributors to obesity and childhood obesity at that. And this is why so many kids today are having problems with ADD and ADHD. Okay? This is a synthetic sweetener, along with other sweeteners that they're putting in the bread as well, too. All right? So this increases the blood sugar, which increases your risk for diabetes, which also increases your insulin resistance. This also increases triglycerides in the body as well, too, which could lead later on to a heart attack, which also could lead to fatty liver disease. So if you consume a lot of bread, a lot of high fructose corn syrup, it's going to create these triglycerides that are going to cause the liver to be fatty. It also increases obesity, and it also increases the risk for heart disease. Okay, so hugely important. Another chemical. And the reason why I'm calling it a chemical is because high fructose corn syrup and many of the other sweeteners are unnatural sweeteners. Okay, they're not natural at all. So they're chemicals. All right. Number 6 is gluten. Number 6 is gluten. And this one is hugely important because most people are under the impression, unless they have celiac disease, they don't really have any concern with gluten. Well, what is really important to understand is that when I was talking about how wheat became hybridized here in the US, what I didn't tell you is that as a result of that hybridization, the concentration of gluten in wheat went up exponentially. So it's far more gluten in the wheat that is being eaten today, that hybridized wheat, that our ancient ancestors was eating. And now let me explain to you what's so dangerous about gluten, even if you don't have celiac disease or you don't have, an allergy to gluten. Gluten creates a compound called zonulin. In your gut is made like this, tight junctions. Only nutrients are supposed to get through. No chunks of food. That's the only thing that's supposed to cross over that gut barrier. So the gut is very tight because the gut has the job of protecting whatever's in the bowels from getting into the bloodstream. Could you imagine if feces or food, wasted food or fermented or rotten food got into our bloodstream? That would be pretty dangerous. You would become septic and die very quickly. So the gut is protecting you from that. All right? With these tight junctions that you see here. Okay? All right, so just imagine that's the lining of the gut, tight junctions, and only micro substances can get through, like vitamins, minerals, trace elements, amino acids, things of that nature. Well, when you start eating a lot of gluten, that compound zonulin that is created from gluten causes these tight junctions to become loose. And now you're getting chunks of food particles going across that gut barrier into the bloodstream. You know what that does? Causes the immune system to go crazy, become hyperactive. It causes the gut to be inflamed, gluten. Okay, so the intestinal lining of the gut becomes inflamed. You become fatigued because the immune system is constantly overworking. So now you have chronic fatigue and you're tired all the time. You're constantly bloated. You're constantly constipated. You have an increased risk for autoimmune diseases because, as I told you, now that you're getting these food particles coming across the gut barrier, it's causing the immune system to become hyperactive. Now the immune system is overacting to food particles and all kind of things that are coming across that shouldn't be coming across. At some point, it starts to react like that to its own tissues. So now you get an autoimmune disease in the blood, and we call it lupus, or you get an autoimmune disease in the nervous system, and we call it multiple sclerosis. Okay, but it also damages the microbiome in the gut as well too. So it's hugely important to understand that you're going to have gluten in wheat, okay? But you're going to have a massive amount in the hybridized wheat that is being consumed here in the US today. Okay, so gluten is a chemical, okay? Because now at this point, you're getting doses of gluten at a level that the human body has never seen. And in my opinion, wheat is really made for rodents. It's really not what we should be eating. It's what we can eat when it's in its original form. But wheat is really for rodents, okay? They have the digestive system to break that down, okay? But gluten on any level, whether you have celiac disease or not, on any level will inflame the gut, okay? Number 7 is the pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides that I mentioned before. This type of wheat is going to be highly sprayed. It has to be because, as I mentioned before, that leafy canopy that used to protect that wheat from weeds and protect that wheat from other insects is no longer there because now you have a 6-foot wheat plant that's now a dwarf 2-foot plant, which means that it's lower to the ground, easier for insects to get to. You have to spray it more with more pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides. And guess what? Now more rodents could get to it too, because instead of it being 6 foot, so it's difficult for those rodents to get to it, now it's right here at 2 feet. So the wheat is going to be highly sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, and many of them are endocrine disrupting pesticides and herbicides and insecticides, which means that it's going to highly disrupt your hormonal system, both in men and women, okay? And then the last one, number 8, okay? The last one, number 8, is all of the chemicals that you get from the processing of wheat. There's a process that is involved with producing wheat called the Maillard reaction process, okay? And what happens during this process is that it produces carcinogenic esters. And these esters, for example, are things like acrylamide and furans. And what happens is they're put in the process because those things are responsible for the aroma of bread. Have you ever been walking or passing by a place that is making bread and you can smell it from the car? Well, this is where it's coming from. It's coming from chemicals in most cases, especially here in the US. As a matter of fact, if you're familiar with Subway, you know that when you walk by a Subway, you can instantly smell that bread. Well, this is another one of those chemicals that is in the bread, and it's put there to create that aroma that brings you into the store to get the bread as well too. All right, so those are the 8 chemicals. The 8 chemicals that probably is why you probably shouldn't or probably won't want to eat bread anymore. Now, let me give you a tip. If you're going to have bread, get the most original form of wheat, which is called incorn wheat. Okay, and I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be a little bit controversial because I know that when you look at the alkaline list for Dr. Sebi, spelt is on there, but it's important for you to know that I know that there's not supposed to be any hybrids on the list, but spelt is a hybrid, and spelt does have gluten in it. Okay, so it's important to know if you want to eat bread, then eat the original form, which is incorn. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you're not cursing me out at this point. I hope that you share this information with somebody you love and care about so that we can get this message out. This is a community and a grassroots community, and we win when we share information that shifts and changes and breaks generational curses, like health curses, okay? And, generational health curses like diabetes, hypertension, cancer, heart disease, etc. So spread the information, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Until the next time, peace and blessings, and Godspeed.
There's only one way to make it mark while eating cake.
Wow,
Woo
that's
wee.
some rough stuff.
He really broke it down. He broke it down
He
to,
really did. He really did. Because I was wondering where this MS came from in me and my sister, and wondering how come so much of this SDSC or whatever that is going around now. With the children.
Yeah.
yeah. So, okay. He said make sure it has incorn. Is that spelled E-N or I-N?
It's E-N.
E-N-C-O-R-N. Okay, so where do we find that? I mean, okay, so we're almost out of time, aren't we? I stopped eating the bread from the supermarket. Basically, I get it from the bakery. I mean, I get it from the health food store that gets it from the bakery.
Mm,
So maybe I should find out what kind of wheat they use.
right. Yeah. Incorn. You can get it off of Amazon. I have ordered off of Amazon.
Oh, okay.
It's
Incorn wheat.
Incorn. E-N-C-O-R-E.
Oh,
Or
E.
C-R-R-N.
Okay. E-N-C-O-R-N. Incorn wheat. Okay.
How does it taste?
It tastes good. It does.
Do
It
you
tastes
bake,
like
you bake a
normal.
loaf of bread every day?
No. I normally used it for, when I wanted to make a loaf of bread, or some cornbread or something. I would use that. But I don't use it much,
Okay, so all right, so cornbread. So because I just made some quinoa cornbread, and I used quinoa and I used Everette-Hale cornmeal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't use any corn product at all because they don't even make corn without being a GMO anymore. It's all GMO now.
Okay, so what would I use instead of cornmeal? I would use the incorn.
Yep. I
Okay.
mean, you really have to change up how you do everything. I mean, it doesn't taste like my mama's cornbread or my grandma's. It does.
Because it wasn't as grandma, your mom's and your grandma's especially probably wasn't as far away from the original as it is now.
Right.
So
True.
that's why we're having all these problems. And wasn't I just talking about it this morning when I said I was tired all the time? Okay,
I know, isn't that something?
the bread. Yeah.
Oh my, but thank you, Queen, for showing that.
Can
Like
we
I
link
said,
link to his YouTube so I can, yeah, look at him some more.
oh yes, Dr. Bobby Price.
Dr. Bobby Price.
Did you post it? I thought you posted it.
Oh, and not group me, WhatsApp. I'm on so many things now. It's like, oh God. Okay, yeah.
I thought you put it in there. I know you sent it
I
to
did.
me.
I did.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Any other thoughts, questions?
Mm.
I tell you, if you could see the spelling of all these big words, I said I
Right.
just have
Tell
to
me
spell
about
it
it.
sounds to me so that I get somewhat close to it.
Because mine spelled, when they said Japanese, I said, okay, that's fitting right in.
Yeah,
Right.
that was good. That was good. And what he said about how much sugar is in every slice of bread.
Right.
You have sandwich, you have two. You have breakfast, so you eat 2 pieces of bread, toast,
Yeah, then you had lunch.
Right.
You have a sandwich later on, and
Mhm.
then for dinner, you have bread, especially with your soup.
Right.
That is a lot. That is a lot when you really think about it.
Mm-mm-mm. Right.
Mhm.
And it's just interesting. Then we wonder why we're dealing with so many things. This little stuff. I'm like, because I'm even dealing with stuff, but I would never trace it back to something like bread. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I too, Stacy, have been checking this brother out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He has a whole lot to talk about in every area, and it's not just bread. We have
Right.
to
That's
look
true.
at everything that's processed
Yeah, right.
and all the chemicals that's in the whole process of processing what we call foods, and they're not foods, they're products.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I watch him also, and
Mm-hmm.
he's part of Earn Thy Leisure. And yeah, he's really good. And I
Yeah,
think
he
he
is.
posts, he got a
What is
huge
that?
following also. He got a nice following.
He's part of what, honey?
Earn Thy Leisure. These young African men, they are powerful, like 19 Keys, and he's a part of Earn Thy Leisure. They are really amazing.
Yeah. So he's
Yeah.
been, are those some of the shows that I see him on where he's talking to brothers in particular?
Yes, he
Okay.
talked. Yep, he's
Yeah.
yep, yep.
And
I
their
think
way,
they do his, huh?
I was just saying, in their way, they're really up on their health
Financial, everything.
and
They have
finances and everything. Yes.
everything. Yeah. And Jabril had an opportunity. They do the Invest Fest. Jabril went there last year. It's a big, huge event in Atlanta. Yeah, they doing the doggone thing.
Yeah. Speaking of which, and then we got to get out of here. When I posted last night, I realized, and I need to share this with you all, that because I've been, I want you to come because, this is my baby and all that stuff. And last night it was a whole different thing of, when I'm posting, it gives you the opportunity to write something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we need to be telling them about, I think I said something like, let's pull ourselves together and we need to tell them about what the topic is. Not so much just to come, but what they're going to get out of the conference, being around Elizabeth and what that means. And also that manifesting, we need to talk more about. This is going to be your opportunity to manifest in all these different areas of your life and your money and your health and wellness and your, especially what you're going to be talking about and talking from that, where they're like, whoa, make them think.
Okay.
Not just attend, but make them think about what they're going to, oh, yeah, right. Right. You want to be around people that blah, blah, blah. You want to be around people that are pregnant with visions and dreams and stuff. We want to talk about manifesting and what is your purpose and what kind of ways do you need to transform? You're going to, you'll have those types of how important is there for you to have a coach and stuff like that. You need to talk from there, what they're going to experience and watch, and then look out for what turns them on. Yeah, because I've been dealing with that. Well, you're gonna get some breakthroughs. That's how we need to begin to talk, not just posting, but talking to their heart, talking to their ear, talking to their passion. Speak to that. And then this is where you need to be for that.
Okay, sounds good. That's good. Good advice.
All right.
Video should be done, like a video.
Yeah, there are many things that we're creating.
All right.
Oh, Lord. I'm like,
So the Elizabeth is going over too,
Say that again, baby.
The Elizabeth is going over like she said. What was it that when we had the Wednesday, no buy anything Wednesday, but our Elizabeth thing is definitely moving. People are hearing that.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Mm.
And like I said, I had somebody buy a ticket immediately when I announced it at a club Sunday night. Whipped out her money.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking about, Lakeisha? She whipped out her money and I didn't have a physical ticket to give it to her.
Oh
Mhm.
my.
Yeah, I'm gonna come get my tickets.
Mhm. So if you all want physical tickets, I am making those.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much are they?
The tickets
I
are
guess I'm behind.
$35.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm asking every one of us to at least sell one table. That's 8 tickets, at least. Okay. So let's, focus on
Okay.
that. We'll talk more about it. Thank you. Very good show.
No, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you all.
Okay. Peace out. Give yourselves a big hug. And hug the wonderful world that we live in. This school on earth. Ooh, I have plenty of opportunity to learn everything. And sprinkle education and knowledge and wisdom and peace and love on everybody today, and especially on ourselves. And peace. And Lakeisha look like she about to step out into the elements.
This is my blanket, my cover, my
Oh,
blanket.
that.
oh my.
It be cold in my basement sometimes, so.
Oh yeah. All right. Love you.
Peace.
For transformation tomorrow.
Mm.